Hey everyone, a very exciting day today. I got my first ever 1 ounce gold buffalo coin. Pretty excited about that. And I actually, as opposed to, kind of regular buying this coin, I traded in some of my silver stack to get this gold coin. So I want to talk about kind of why I did that and a little bit of math behind that. So today I traded 66 ounces of silver for this 1 ounce gold. I've been stacking for a few years now, and one of the things that I've stressed and talked about the most, if you go back and look at some of my videos or if you've seen my videos, is how I think the gold to silver ratio is the number one most important thing you should be keeping track of to decide, how much you want to be putting in silver and how much you want to be putting in gold at any one time. So gold is my number one. I'm more of a gold bug. My goal with stacking is realistically to, buy and hold as much gold as I can, until I'm about ready to retire. So I've been buying silver though for the past few years. And, throughout the entire time period that I've been buying silver, the gold to silver ratio has been pretty consistently over 85 to 1. The gold to silver ratio is just how many times more expensive is gold than silver, how many ounces of silver is equal to the cost of 1 ounce of gold. And it's been pretty consistently over 85 to 1 throughout the past few years. And it's actually even been higher than that for a lot of the time, 90, 95, 100, 105, 110. And so I've talked a lot in my videos about how at some point I wanted to trade in silver for gold when the gold to silver ratio gets lower. So right now, it's kind of dipped under 60 for the first time, in the whole time that I've been doing this, which isn't that long, but basically if you have like a longer term horizon with the metals, the gold to silver ratio is going to have highs and it's going to have lows. So I wanted to do the math on why this is so valuable and why this is so important. So for the purpose of this, I said that I bought these 66 ounces of silver that I traded in today at an average gold to silver ratio of 90. I actually think that's pretty conservative, to tell you the truth, because pretty much all the silver I've ever bought was over 85, and it got to 90, 95, 100, 105, 110. So I really actually think the number is higher than that, but I wanted to be fair and I wanted to be conservative. So for the purpose of this, we're going to say that the average gold to silver ratio was 90 when I bought the silver that I traded in today. So if you take the 66 ounces that I traded today, you divide that by 90, you get 0.733 repeated. And what that means is if I had only bought gold, if I had never bought silver, the gold worth would be 0.733 ounces of, what I invested in this 66 ounces of silver. So obviously today I traded it for a full ounce of gold. So a full ounce of gold is more than 0.7333 ounces. So you can kind of almost say that I got 0.2666 ounces over a quarter ounce of gold basically for free by, trading the ratio. And that even takes into account the premium. So you do get whacked a little bit with the premium. I had to trade in my silver for backup spot. I had to buy gold for more than spot. But even taking in the fact that I got hit with the premium a little bit on both ends, I still got 0.266 ounces of gold for free if you kind of step back and look at it in the long term. And, if you take 0.2666 divided by 0.7333, it means that I got 36% extra gold by trading the silver to gold ratio than just buying gold. Not to mention that silver, the price, was for most of the time was $30, $35, $40. A lot more attainable. It's harder to save up for gold. And if you buy gold in small increments, the premiums are really big. So you buy a 10th ounce of gold, you really get hit with the premiums really hard. And so, yeah, I am super happy with how it turned out, trading in my silver for gold. Now, I didn't trade all my silver. The 66 ounces, I traded about 45% of my total silver stack. So I do still believe in silver. I think silver has a lot of upside, a lot of potential, a lot of value. And if I didn't believe that, I would have sold all of it. So I still have a little bit over half of my silver, even making this move. But I just decided that was the right move for me right now. Silver has been extremely volatile the past week. It's gone up really violently this year, which is very, very exciting and very, very awesome for those of us who have bought silver, the past few years. But at the same time, gold is my number one priority. And I figured when I had this opportunity to, trade in my silver and get a really good amount of gold for it relative to what I paid for the silver, I decided it was time to take a little bit of profits off the table in silver. Everybody's got to do what they think is best for them. And I just decided that that's what I was most comfortable with. My silver and gold, it had gotten to a point where it was about 50-50. Almost 50% of the value was in silver and almost 50% of the value was in gold. And I really want to be closer to 75-25. I want about 75% of my resources in gold and 25% of my resources in silver. And so this was the time to make that happen, at least for me. And yeah, I'm really happy about this. Full ounce of gold is remarkable. Obviously, the 24 karat gold is beautiful. So yeah, just wanted to talk about the math behind the gold to silver ratio. I've talked about the math before, but now I have like a real life example to show you, based on something that I did, which is very exciting. And then, yeah, silver, maybe I'll come to regret it if silver keeps violently going up. But I didn't liquidate all my silver. I still have a decent amount of upside in silver if silver continues to roar like it has been. And I don't think I'll regret my decision either way. I'm a lot more comfortable, with this amount of gold and this amount of silver. I was starting to get a little uncomfortable with how violently silver was moving and how much of my, kind of value was in silver. So let me know what you guys think. Thank you for watching, and I hope you have a great day.